from the... Hey, we're live. What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome back to the Plot Coalition YouTube channel. Today, we're finishing the biggest scene in the Helldivers film. It's taken a long time to animate. There's a lot that happens in it. So I only have a couple shots left, and I figured stream would be a good motivator to get those done. Hey, what's up, Michael? Welcome. So we're gonna jump in and work on animating. I'm a little sleepy, a little tired, little sleepy me. But we're gonna power through it, get this done, and it's very exciting because once these next 3 shots are done, it's 3 shots, right? Let me double check. 3 shots. There are 3 shots left, and they're all relatively simple, so I don't think it's gonna be a super long stream. But once these 3 shots are done, there will be a straight 35 minutes of the film, maybe a little more than 35 minutes of the film completely in the bag. And then we have some additional stuff that's already been animated. We've already been working on some of the more complex animations that happen later on. So all that is in the works, is happening right now, but this will give us like an end-to-end being able to watch it through. And the other day I was watching the film, and this is something that I have not experienced on one of my projects yet, and this is a good thing. So usually I get through like the animation phase, right? And I'm like, okay, it's there. I have stuff animated, it's rendered out, and I put it end to end, and I watch it, and then I'm like, oh my word, what have I done? That's usually the feeling I have, right? It's not always a good feeling. But in this case, with this film, I start watching the film to like take notes on like, okay, this is like what we need to do next. And I catch myself just watching the film. So there are definitely like things that need to be worked on and stuff. But it is like even with some rough around the edges moments. And like no visual effects, no sound or anything, just like the voice actors and like a couple of temp sound effects, some placeholder music and stuff. Like even still, just that, I just found myself like sitting down and watching it. It's really well paced, which was something that I was not necessarily worried about, but just there's way more investment on the front end of like, you're not sure how it's all going to actually come together. Like I have a good idea in my head, like from the very beginning. Like there's a lot of this that is just like, yep, that's been in my head for a year now. Like it's finally in front of me. It's materializing, right? But there are plenty of like unknowns about like how it's actually going to work, how it's actually going to play out. Like do the visuals match, the energy of the voice performance and, stuff like that. And there was a degree where I wanted it to have a certain feeling, and it's giving that certain feeling, which is really, really cool. So we're going to get into animation. I'm going to switch over to my screen, and so we're in the scene. We're getting ready to extract, ignore the fallen factory strider, you know, that may or may not be from earlier in this scene. But so here, take a look at this. Over here, these are the animations. These are some of the animations. So there are, before this animation, because there are a lot more, because when I kind of break this out, sometimes when it's a dialogue scene, I'll just say like, you know, this dialogue scene is just like just a straight motion capture file. It's just them talking. It's moving the plot along, whatever. And I'll figure out like how many camera shots and stuff are going to be in there when I get to that point. So it ended up being probably about another 40 shots before this. So this scene is close to 200 shots, which is absolutely friggin' bonkers. That's a lot of shots. This one scene, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it. This one scene, if it was a Helldivers short film, it would probably get well regarded as a fantastic like Helldivers film on its own. And this is one scene in the midst of our entire film. The scene is about, what's the total runtime on the storyboard? On the storyboard, it clocks in at, I didn't even realize it was this long. It clocks in on the storyboard at 9 minutes and 41 seconds. And there are definitely a little bit more wiggle room that we've added. There was one animation that one of our senior animators did, and he made it look so cool that I was like, I can't not use the whole animation. So there are a couple that get some good moments. Actually, let me see. I'll see if it loads. We'll see if his animation loads real quick. I'll show it to you because what we're doing next isn't as exciting as like all the action-packed stuff, but I'll show it to you just to, you know, so you can say you were here. So I have different levels that are like the same environment. So like this, you know, like there are ones that like have like automated automatons and stuff, just so I didn't have to animate them for every single moment. But then this was, what was that shot? Shot 11:29. Which, let me just say, the amount of shots that like we can process and animate and do is insane. Like this shot right here, 11:129. So shot like on the storyboard, it's 129 shots in. With the opening dialogue scene, they would probably put this at like 150 shots in, right around there. And this is all of these animations is what I've done since Sunday. So that's pretty crazy. But let's see here. It's going to be this one. It opened, it loaded. I'm not going to like render it with the lighting. But this is, you know, you saw this guy in the trailer, in the original teaser trailer. So he's making a comeback, but this is the animation that this guy did. So this is pre-compositing. It's not going to be lit because I don't want my, you know, computer to fry on stream. But and we'll punch it in a little bit to what it's actually going to be, which is going to be closer to like, I think I decided on 28 millimeters, but I wanted to just scale it in. But this is the animation. So it looks incredible. Like just his animation style and everything is top notch. And once all the visual effects and everything are in there, like, it's gonna feel so good. So it's nice and smooth. Just has so much punchy weight to it. But yeah, so that is one shot in this entire scene that we're working on. So yeah, insanely hyped. This guy is crazy talented. Let me switch this back in case I ever need to pull the render again. Because what I'll do, I'll render it sometimes wider if I know that, one, I'm going to be doing like a ton of compositing on something. The shot is going to have a ton of compositing. So if I know there's going to be a ton of compositing, and if I'm going to add camera shake afterwards, I like to get like the general motion of the camera in there. But then I get like way more specific later on, and if I have to do any additional tracking. In this case, I exported the camera so that it's just a little bit easier to place elements and whatnot. But there are some shots where I'm just like, yeah, I know how quickly and easily I can track that, so I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, just like, we can watch it here. This is it at the wide shot. It's so good with all the snow and stuff. I mean, come on. Incredible stuff. So I get super hyped, being able to see this just start to come together. Super cool. All right, we're gonna get back to what we're working on, because like I mentioned, once these next 3 shots are done, this whole scene is done. There are a couple like little things that I might go back in and tweak pending time, but I definitely need to keep the train moving. All right, so this next shot is pretty simple. It is close-up of thrusters on Pelican 1, which means I just need the thrusters to kind of point at the camera and get nice and bright. I have a few of those shots in the film. I have found in like my sci-fi brain, my sci-fi aesthetic, I really like that kind of shot for some reason. I just like the engines powering on, very Top Gun-esque. But yeah, because I did a whole bunch of New Frontiers as well. There are several of those. But I try to look for like what's the most interesting version of this. Like, this would be kind of cool. This is kind of a cool angle. So that's something that I'm also trying to consider. Ooh, the flammable label. I love finding the little labels on these. What does this say? Warning, manual override requires training. There's so many funny little stickers. Pull out to eject. There's one on this autocannon. Extra magazines are stored in the side compartments. If you have to reload the turret manually, read the user manual in the side compartment. Caution, don't look directly at light. Like, it's just cool. They have all these details in the game that you never like, who is going to go and look at this Helldivers logo over here? You can't even read this one. The texture is too small. But it's just neat. It's neat. I got started early. Yeah, that's a little bit. I wanted to get started early because I'm going to work on this, get these shots done, and then there's a number of things for the film that I just need to get worked on. So I wonder if there's a way we can read the flammable label. Ooh, flammable label and the logo and the thrusters all in the same shot? That sounds like money to me. There are some times where, like, they have, like, so many details in this game, but there are, like, a couple of little things that I'm like, I wish there was just that little bit more. So in this case, like, these thrusters are kind of stuck, but it would be cool if they would do, like, what F-16s do when, like, their thrusters, like, the way they kind of bloom and open up. That'd be super cool in this shot, which you might be able to finagle that in compositing, but I like that they added the children's pictures to the wall by the cryopods. Did they? I haven't noticed. I got to play for a little bit last night. One of my friends, I've been waiting for him to get Helldivers for like a year, but he's on Xbox, and he got it today, or a few days ago, and I was able to play with him. So that was like the first time that I really got to play a bit. Before that, I played with a couple of friends, but it's just been the closer we get to the release of the film, the harder it is to play the game, which is a little bit sad, but it'll pay off. The child drawing after we rescued him next year. That's cool. They should use some of our child drawings. They're in the schoolroom. All right, that feels like a good angle. We can throw some lights on, and we'll start adding all the additional stuff. Hey, what's up, Zerl the Turtle? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's good to see ya. Good to see ya. Total guess, and I got it right. Look at me sometimes using my brain. Let's see here. Intensity. I'm going to start it at 1. Go to like frame 12. And we'll go up just a little bit. And then, is this key? Oh, it's doing that weird thing. And then we'll really boost it up. And then have it drop down to like, maybe like 5. Or wait, did that not drop any keyframes? Hello? Am I? I'm a silly goose. I'm a silly goose. My keyframes weren't setting. You're fighting the flankers. That's what these guys just finished doing. It's a very cool bot battle scene. Actually, I might go down to 0.75. Just so they're nice and dim. And then they can hit that when it really starts to blast through. And we'll lower this down. And we'll be adding some animation to this and getting it to a pretty good place. I might move the camera a little bit just so you can see more where it says flammable. And we might throw a couple chaps in the corner here. That feels pretty... just a good amount of light. And now we'll kind of build our movement off of that, because these are kind of stuck in here with it. Okay. Let's go ahead and start adding some animation. The bots are fun. Bots are probably my favorite. Well, I think the Terminids are my favorite, but I like the bots the most for like the challenge of it. But the one area that I don't love the bots on, mainly because I feel like the aesthetic is off, which is kind of funny because it should be the one where it feels like the most at home, but is the city maps. I feel like the city maps just aren't designed. They're not designed for the bot enemy type, you know? There's something off about it. Close up the hatch. Oh. I want to set that at first one. I don't even mind that it's hard. It's just the like, I don't know. There's something off about the aesthetic, in my opinion. Like city maps are, I feel like, almost exclusive to the Illuminate, in my opinion. Yeah, and maybe that's it. It's just that that zombie-esque feeling that they have. Let me turn off this for a second. See how that feels. Maybe if we just have that. That feels a little bit better. Wonder, are there any additional parts over here? You can't even really see that though. Let's see. I can open that up, but I don't think you're gonna see it. Is there a front exhaust? No. I'm just looking for little doodads to, you know, spice up the animation. I think this thing opens up. Let's see. Then their wildlife in the works, I heard. Wildlife? That could be interesting, but I don't know if I want it. Like, I think lore-wise it's cool. Practically in the game, though, I'm not sure. Well, that's starting to feel a lot more alive than where we were at a minute ago. Oh, you want to know it does need these feet. That's what I was trying to figure out, what was not moving up. But it's these legs. Which I feel like they can hang behind just a little bit. You know, like they're the last things that go up. Can we ride them, the wildlife? All right, this feels pretty good, especially knowing how much is going to be happening within this. I do think I just want to fill out this background just a little bit, so I think I'm going to just add some characters back in there and just use old animation on them. Let's see. If we get horses, I'm going to do so many wing. Horses would be an interesting one. Do a World War I themed war bond. I'll just bring the whole gang here. So many different versions of this guy. There's so many different versions of characters depending on like what they do in a scene. So like all these guys, like because they do so much in the scene animation wise, but they're also just like constantly like, you know, changing which weapons they're using and stuff like that. Or like interacting with no you know, nothing like no weapons, just using their bare hands and stuff. Like there's a good chunk of stuff like that happening. Okay, so where are these guys gonna show up? Probably back here. And then I just got to make sure they're somewhat in the order that I had them in. Which I'm not too concerned about, like, absolute placement. It's like this guy can have the last animation that I did, which was 6-2. This guy. The shovel. We have a shovel reference in here. Oh, I got to talk about, was it 1116? It was 1116. This guy's animation looks a little wacky. He was off screen by the time he kind of got into proper positioning. But we added the shovel when it first came out. I was like, that needs to make it into the film somewhere. So we added that. But now I have a new one that I absolutely want in the film. I just need to find the right way to implement. And that is the newest canon character to the Helldivers universe, Stephen Caves. I want to add Stephen Caves to the film. I think that'd be it'd be a funny but also like, you know, like show how close to release we were working on this. To be able to add a Stephen Caves reference. I think that would be hilarious. All right, so this guy can scooch over. So everybody can get a little screen time, but we're just looking at their backs. it's lit. Yeah, I mean, they're going to be like entirely covered up here. Because this is also just going to be blowing stuff around and whatnot. So maybe in addition to that, I'll just add maybe a couple of automatons, but keep it kind of light. We'll do a Hulk. We'll do maybe one of these dinky guys. Get some automatons in there for them to be walking towards to fight. I don't think I grabbed the Hulk. We'll blow this little guy up. That's been my one of my favorite things is I went through and just I needed like a bunch of different variations of bots just like exploding and dying and all this stuff. So I set up, I used like Unreal's physics engine to like just simulate like a bunch of bots just like dying and like getting mangled and stuff. And then I've just been using those like everywhere I can because it looks funny, it looks cool. Just every time that, you know, one of these guys just like gets blown up and is like kind of stumbling around. Whatever. If you wanted to keep it small, you could add Stephen Caves as a poster, or if you have any official broadcast, you could add it as the commercial after the news. A poster is definitely the like the current candidate. I feel like I could easily sneak a poster in where it's like, you know, Stephen Cave says, you know, one of those. And like that would be enough. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. But I posted it out to see if anybody on the team wanted to design it, any of the designers. But I haven't gotten any bites yet, but I think it's too good of an opportunity to pass up. It'd be perfect for a bedroom wall, but Helldivers just go back to the pods. Yeah, it's definitely going to be something like that. It's either going in like there is like a bedroom household scene that I could go in, or there's like a computer desk that I could definitely like slap it on. Just be like, Stephen Caves. Yo, bro. Did you watch Stephen Caves last night? We've almost got animation on all these guys. I wasn't expecting this much character animation in the background, but just with the angle that we chose and everything, you know, it's just going the extra mile on it. I try to do that as much as I can on this. Like, anytime that I'm like, oh man, I just really need to like focus up and get, you know, blah, 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 blah. Get things done. Like, obviously I do, and I do need to have, you know, some restraint in that regard. But there are just like times where I just get caught up in like, even like little stuff like this where I'm like, oh, but now that we're looking this way, like, gotta add like little guys in the background and stuff. And like, it all makes the film better, but it's definitely like where I find myself just like, you know, in that loop of like, make it better, and get it done, you know. I feel that on so many levels. All right. And you know what? In that same spirit, even though nobody's going to notice, all you on stream are going to notice. But I'll just do a quick animation on these guard dogs. The guard dogs are nice the way I have them set up here because they do have their own independent animation. So no matter what, they will do something. I kind of made this, I think I actually did it on stream, where they do this hovering animation. That's a good, just easy way to get, you know, some free animation that keeps things looking interesting. And we'll set these to linear, and this one we'll just set the second one to linear. All right, I think that's gonna be it for this specific animation. You can see where it's getting bogged down. But that, you know what? See, this is my problem. Sticker on a laptop. See, that's perfect. That's a perfect Stephen Caves reference. Watch, this is my problem. Is now I'm like, but like, you know, it costs nothing to go in here and just, I mean, it costs a little bit of my time. But like to go in and add some quick, you know, interactive light from the gunfire. And if I add light, then I don't need to add, you know, like the muzzle flashes or whatever. That's something I'm really good at, is like making an excuse to like keep going down a path, even if I am like totally wasting time on it. Not wasting time. But I think you all get what I mean. And we'll add it for his stalwart as well. Actually, we'll bump it up to 2. And off. Let's see if this melts my computer. You can't really see it right now. But there's a little bit of flickering back there. That's what we wanted. That's, you know. That's it back there. All right. I think that is enough. I think there's enough here. To where everything else can be composited. I'm going to say this shot is good for render. And there's not even camera movement, which will also help with that sweet, sweet compositing. I might, before I forget, because I am bound to, where's our camera? I think I folded it up. I did. I'm going to bump this out. Like we talked about earlier, just go a little bit wider. So that way I can add all my camera shake and stuff in the composite. But overall, I feel really good about this. This looks nice. All right. I'm going to mark that one as animated. Pelican 1 lifts off as skull divers walk out into the night. This one is going to take a little bit of time, but will certainly be worth it. So let's create a new folder. Almost there. Second to last shot in this scene. I will say, after this stream specifically, this might be the last animation stream that I do, because what is left in animation is all spoilers. It is a spoiler haven. So I don't want to do it on stream and like ruin things for people, but what we'll probably start doing on stream is oh, did I not mocap this? Maybe I just always intended it to be. Yeah, I must have. Okay. So this will actually go a little bit quicker. Past Caleb was like, I was probably doing motion capture. I was probably doing this scene, and I was like, I'm so tired. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sweaty, and I'm uncomfortable, and I'm sleepy. I just want to go to bed. I guarantee you all that was happening, and I was like, you know what? I have a shot. I have motion capture of each character walking off. I will just use that. That's what it seems I did. Which isn't a bad thing, because you don't really see them walking off in the previous shots anyways. So it's easily reused. Not a problem. What I was saying before, though. Within this, well, you can just stream your second screen of Red versus Blue, and you can just work quietly on your animation. We can't see. True, true. I could go back to watching Red versus Blue. I'll talk about that in a second, but to just talk about kind of what the streams will look like in the future, I'll probably do visual effects on stream, because I'll easily be able to like pull shots that like won't have spoilers in them, and we'll just do the visual effects compositing on stream, even if I'm still working on animation, because that's kind of the next step we're going to move into. Is while I finish up animation with the animation team, I'm going to start a VFX and a sound team, just to allow people to work on what's there of the film, because it doesn't make sense to not, when there's so much that's done and needs to be done, especially because a lot of these big battles and huge composites are happening in these first 35 minutes. It's like, why not, you know? Red versus Blue, let's talk about that, because I did some more research. I looked into more stuff, because, so for those who don't know, I watched Red versus Blue for like on stream for like 2-3 months. 3 months, yeah. Just because I'd never seen it and I wanted to see what was the hullabaloo, you know? And I liked the way that it, like, you know, the direction it took and everything. I thought that was all pretty neat, pretty cool. After I finished watching it, I decided just to look into, like, you know, what is like the history of this show, I suppose. And looking into that and just like understanding more, it definitely allowed me to appreciate the show a lot more. I thought that was like super interesting, just to hear everything and see, you know, how that entire thing came together. It was all cool, but I definitely got the impression, and this is kind of what folks were telling me on stream, is like what I've seen is like the best of what's there. Because like I was watching stuff with like the original creators and stuff, and the way that they were talking about it, I was like, this is like, it feels like it's at its natural stopping, like where people were like, this is what we set out to accomplish when this became a bigger thing, and we're really happy with it. And then I think it was like, well, it's still successful, so what are you going to do next? and they were like, oh, I guess people want more of this. And yeah, I don't know. I tend to do this a lot with like a lot of things, where like if I feel fulfilled or like it was conclusive for me, I can totally put something down and not watch it like ever again. Perfect example, season 1 of Stranger Things. I thought season 1 of Stranger Things was great. It was different. It was out there in the way of like, oh, this is like cool to see. They're doing this whole thing. Um, what am I looking for? Yeah, they do the whole thing like it's 80s and it's fun and it's cool. And I really liked it. I was all about it. Um, and then as soon as it was over, I was like, that was, or like as it was finishing, I was like, that was a cool one-off thing. I really hope they don't turn this into a franchise or try to do any more of this. I don't want to watch any more Stranger Things. Stranger Things is finished in my mind. And then there's like the end of season 1 where he like coughs off up like the little bit of the Demigorgon or whatever, and it's like, it's not over. And I was like, no, I don't want this. Don't do this. Who asked for this? I was not a fan. But a lot of people were, and good for them. But it wasn't for me. If you stopped when the director dies, that's a pretty good stopping point. You could also stop after chorus. That is, yeah, that's, you got like, I don't know, it felt like really conclusive with like the freelancers and everything. And like, I don't know, I didn't feel like I wanted any more after that. I felt like the freelancer storyline was good to follow, and after that, like, I didn't feel like I needed to watch any more of the show. I would be curious to see like what else is in there, but from also what I understand, like from an animation standpoint, it's also just where, you know, it kind of peaked as far as like, having all that, because the original animator passed away. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't be opposed to watching more of it. I'm just also like, I have no desire to, I suppose, is the way to put it. Did I not? What the heck? What? Oh, I did not know those slid into place. This whole time, this is the last shot with the pelican. This is the last shot with the pelican, and I just realized that these compartments on the side of the wall slide into place to close it. That makes so much sense because of the trouble that I've had. So they must be extended by default, but I didn't realize that they slid down, and apparently I forgot to delete that one. Oh, and these lock up. The detail in this game, I swear. It's so good. Gotta fix those things, though. Gotta fix... Actually, I might shoot it from this angle anyway, because the sun's over here. Ooh! My wife is insisting you watch The One Who Speaks. Sliding in with that $10 super chat. What a guy. Thank you so much. You are very much appreciated. That means a whole lot to me. For real, for real. Also, if anybody wants to be like The One Who Speaks and get that little dinosaur sticker next to your name, consider becoming a member. The longer you're a member, the different dinosaurs you unlock. So I need to work on beefing up my membership content, like flat out, all honesty. There's some pretty solid perks in there, but I definitely need to work on some more. But the dino stickers alone, and you get to watch your dinosaur grow up. That was like my main thing. So I'm going on a total side tangent. Alex, I promise I'll get back to your wife's suggestion. There were so many memberships that I saw, like people doing the YouTube memberships. It was just like default things and stuff. And I was like, if I'm gonna do it, I want it to be like a little bit more special than that. And then when I saw that, like, the longer you're a member, you can have like people unlock certain stickers. I was like, with my logo, that just needs to be a little dinosaur. When you first join, you get a little baby dinosaur, and then you can watch him grow up. And so, like, I think the one who speaks right now, he might be holding a coffee. It goes through like different stages, and there's like an iced coffee that he's holding. He gets different glasses, different hats, changes color, different backgrounds and stuff. So our oldest member is probably on the 1 year, like halfway through the 1 year dinosaur right now. So they become increasingly more rare too, which is kind of neat. Pain and Games, shoot away with your question. Alex, I'm going to answer your wife's thought about me. So your wife is insisting you watch SAO Abridged. Please drop your SAO. What does that mean? What show is that? I'm trying to think, and it's not coming to my head. SAO. Your question is, how am I? I'm doing good, Payne. I'm doing good. We're finishing the animation on this scene, which has me feeling good because this is the longest scene in the whole film. Longest scene in the whole film, and has been a lot to get through. We've been animating it since March. It's been like people have been working on animations for it, and I've been working on different stuff in the background for it. Only really like recently got into like the actual in-engine and rendering and stuff, but man, what a time it's been. Sword Art Online. I'll have to look into that. Me and my wife, we'll watch certain things, or like she'll like get me like on a show for a little bit. Like I'd never seen Adventure Time, or let me clarify. I'd seen a little bit of Adventure Time, but when it was coming out, I was like in a completely different like stage where I was like kind of more like older teen boy, you know. And I was like, man, what is this? Is that the guy from SpongeBob? And I didn't appreciate it as much. But then she got me to watch a good bit of it, which I did like the first few seasons, and then it kind of started to fall off. And we just like kind of got burnt out on watching it. That happens with us a lot. Is like we'll watch something like a lot and then just like never watch it again. Like it'll just whoop gone. Just watch the abridged. It fixes the plot holes of the original show. Okay. I'll have to check it out. One show that me and my wife watched all the way through. Absolutely no regrets. And thoroughly enjoyed was We Bare Bears. We Bare Bears is a great show, and it's got one of my favorite comedians is a voice in it. It's a guy named Dimitri Martin, and he's super funny. I really like his style of comedy. Hey guys, looks like you're doing something fun here. Yeah, doing some of the last animation in the Helldivers film for this scene specifically. And then once this one is done, will be that feels like a good speed. Maybe I'll shift the whole thing over or delay it. But once we get this scene done, we'll be set for like a whole bunch of other stuff to get kicked and going, and I can finish up animation on the other scenes, which would be cool. All right, timing wise, that feels pretty good. Let's get a camera in here, start seeing what we're actually looking at. Kind of like the idea that you can see the bottom of, you know, this automaton factory strider. Just about every time I cough in my house, I almost without fail will say, "I'm dying, Dutch," or "I'm dying, sister. I got that TB." You're a good man, Mr. Morgan. All right, I'm going to control a couple of things here with the weather. The weather and the time of day. Kind of feels like it needs a little bit of a facelift. So one, I'm going to make it a little bit later in the morning. Not by much, but just a wee little bit so that the sun is a little bit bigger. Fog and cloud coverage. We're going to drop that down. And snow, honestly. Snow doesn't need to be this crazy. Snow will make a 1. Fog will make like a... fog actually isn't doing... Oh, so much golden hour, Alex. When I can have as much golden hour as I want. Golden hour all day, baby. I am borderline toxic. I like that elixir of controlling exactly what I want. Ah! Didn't mean to change the camera there. Especially when I know that I'm going to add like a whole bunch. Because I'll Z-depth this too. Z-depth it, and then I'll be adding, you know, more like a lens flare and stuff on there. I mean, we could always preview what the lens flare might look like. Maybe I will up the bloom though. Even though this is something that, like, you know, you really want to control in your composite, sometimes it's nice to just get it as a good base. Must be too intense. We'll set it to like a 1. And then lens flare. And a morphic streak. Maybe we'll set this to 2. This is just for, you know, fun and games. Sometimes I like to do this for fun and games. Probably turn it off for the render though. No lens flare. We'll composite that in. All right. I also brought the clouds like ridiculously low in this shot. Or like for this set of shots. Just so it looked more like fog. Even here, I think I'm just going to have it all the way down there. Maybe I'll have it down a whole bunch, but then bring the amount overall down. And this is it. I literally did it just to have more interaction on the ground, especially because like in like shots like this, like I know I'm going to composite like a bunch more like real footage of fog and stuff. So like in the trailer, let me pull it up real quick. In the ODST style trailer, let me show ya. Promo, Halo Diesel. Is this one just compressed? Yep. Let me pull this up real quick, just to show you what I mean. Which on like YouTube and Instagram is probably harder to see. Super loud. Sorry. So this shot here, so like all of this in here, actually like most of the stuff in this shot is entirely composited. So this is where I'll be like, you know, like here, there's like a whole bunch, I have a whole bunch of assets of like fog kind of getting displaced and like, you know, pushed around, which is just like, you know, fog with a leaf blower. But when you kind of have it at this scale, and you can retime it and stuff, you can make it look like, you know, little water droplets and stuff that are being pushed around and displaced. So that was the kind of the idea here, to give it that sense of larger motion. So there's a bunch of that'll be composited after the fact. Hi, I love this project. Is there anyone who's offered to dub it into Spanish when it comes out? That would be wonderful. Gabriel. I can't remember if there was a guy who came into the Discord, and I can't remember if he said he wanted to translate it or like dub it into Spanish or Russian. I think it might have been Spanish. He had brought it up, and basically what I plan to do is, there's a lot of people who love this project. A lot of people have been following it. I'm going to obviously like post the thing to YouTube, get it out there, right? But then I also want to make it available to just download the like best quality version, so people can watch it without ads, and they can watch it in the form that it was supposed to be. You know, like like you don't need to watch it with YouTube compression, because YouTube loves to take like pure images and just make them poopy. So I'll make that available, and then something else I thought about doing as well in that same spirit was to throw up a version without vocals if people wanted to dub it. I've had people ask me about dubbing my projects in the past. I've never had a problem with it. I'm like, if you have the time, you have my blessing. I've never seen a completed dub of one of my projects. I think people get really excited about it in the beginning. And then, like, I mean, the work alone, there's a lot of work that goes into these projects, but the work that goes into just, like, the recording and everything by itself is, like, it's pretty crazy. Me setting out to make this stuff is not natural. Especially the ones at this scale. Like this is definitely, I would say, at the same scale as New Frontiers, Titanfall New Frontiers, but more so from like a quality standpoint. You know, like the quality is just a lot higher. And that's like what I would use to put them kind of on that similar plane. All right. Ugh. Oh, what I was gonna say when I made that voice earlier. There was a guy on Instagram Reels that I saw the other day. I sent it to my wife. It's a guy doing it's like a bit as like a grandpa. And I think I'm honestly just gonna slow this guy down a little bit. He's doing a bit as a grandpa, but he's like talking about how you like finally figured out how to kick alcohol. And it's by drinking energy drinks. He's like, yeah, I've already had like 200 energy drinks. It's a pretty funny bit. That's a good animation for this guy that I can reuse. Because I don't just want to use him walking forward. 1192. Goodness, this this was that many animations back. Like 80 animations ago, I feel like I animated this like a week ago. Which in reality I probably did. I might use this first part of him walking up. Same thing with this fella. Let me see what other animations you got. You got any of them animations? 1105. $11,055. So maybe I'll use 1116 as a starting point, and then I'll have it blend into this one. Why does it keep... What are you doing? Stop. Stop, I say. don't know why these aren't working the way they're supposed to. There are some clips of Grandpa Tex that are cursed comedy gold. Grandpa Tex, but you want to know who like really takes the cake is Dracula Flo. That might be the highest level of old man shit posting, I suppose, is what you would call it. I might use 11075. Let's try that one. Yeah. It's looking a little wacky. Tex is the voice of my lead, a mech warrior in Hired Steel. He also has his own projects that are 2-hour in character history lessons on the world of Battletech. That's pretty neat. You know, has like almost nothing to do with that specific mention. But my brother told me recently, and I think I probably will, honestly, like after this is done. He said I should get into No Man's Sky. And I've been wanting to get into No Man's Sky for a few years. I just also know it's one of those games that like you kind of have to really dedicate some time to. But I think after this project, it might be a good way for me to reset, you know. But at the same time that this comes out, what's it called? Shoot, I'm blanking on the name. Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders comes out, which I don't really like extraction shooters, but yeah, I don't really like extraction shooters, but I really like just the way that they're making Arc Raiders. I love the world. I love the aesthetic. It's got a lot of good things happening in it. All right, so I think I'm just going to use this. Split the selection right. Blend it and call it a day. I never understood the Ark games. They are so weirdly clunky to me. Not Ark Survival. Not Ark weird primal dinosaur game. Even though I love me some dinosaurs, not that. I've never really been into those either. I tried playing and wasn't for me. What I'm talking about is there is a game coming out. It's from Embark Studios, who makes The Finals, which is also like the only other game that I play. Um, that studio is making um, a a game that is like an extraction shooter where you just like you live underground and like you're living on like this kind of dystopian wasteland kind of things. It looks like a VHS tape. Yeah, no, it's so cool. It's got like this like retro uh sci-fi like feel to it. Um Honestly, like maybe a little bit more rusty than, but like similar to like that new Naughty Dog game that had a bunch of product placement in the trailer. The Heretic Prophet or whatever, Intergalactic or whatever that game is that like looks like a cool episode of Love, Death and Robots. I'll be interested to see if it like can actually translate into being a game. But yeah, it has such a cool look and feel to it. And I played the demo, y'all. The demo to that game is it was insane. I've never played a game like it. I don't like just like the idea, like it's why I like Helldivers so much. I like Helldivers because it forces you to work together as a team. That's the game. If you don't do that, it's gonna be very tough for you. But you can't like ruin people's days. You know, Arc Raiders you can, and it's the one thing that I'm like not super hyped on. Especially when it was like I'd run around and I'd find people who like just kind of wanted to explore, and I was like, hey, like let's go explore or whatever. And then like somebody else would come and ruin the game and like shoot us up or whatever. But like it's so cool. There's like robots and stuff. Like these drones, and the drones have these like crazy sound design and physics. Like when you shoot the drones, you can shoot off their rotors, and like they will start like losing control and bumping into things and moving in a way I've never seen in a video game. It looks very realistic. And like they'll try to track you, but like their system's obviously like failing. It's so cool. It's so well done. But yeah, I just don't like the Tarkov-esque nature of like, here's your stuff, you got to decide what you want to take, and you might not make it back. If it was like everybody like facing like those robots on the surface and it was kind of like Horizon Zero Dawn, that'd be cool. Even if it was that, even if it was whatever, but the role play was like multiple factions. So like you guys aren't the only ones going to the surface. That would be cool. Yeah, it's literally just the only downside I have with it is just the nature of, like, oh, I want to have fun and I want to interact with people and I want to role play. Like I want that to be like part of the experience, right? But like when people just treat it like it's Call of Duty, which was like some of the players that I encountered, it's just like, because now you're forcing me to play like that, and I don't want to play the game like that. It was kind of the same thing, and I think it's honestly what killed Red Dead Online. Red Dead Online, I played almost exclusively for um, the role play aspect, and I had friends that would get on, and we would just like grind it, and like it was all about like having our, like our little jobs and stuff, and like doing the different career paths. I was really into Red Dead Online when it came out, because it was just like a nice form of escapism. But the thing that made Red Dead Online so nauseating to play was everybody else getting on, and just being griefers, just being like, I'm going to join the game and treat everybody like they're an NPC in a single player version of this. And it's like, I think it's totally fine to have fun and like, run around and do those kinds of things. But like the game was so much more fun when, you were like, let's say, well, I guess like, there were certain aspects where I was like, this, I understand how this is like a gameplay element, like robbing coaches and stuff, and like, if you have that's what made the role play aspect fun in certain instances, when you were intentionally getting yourself in a position to be robbed or something from other players. Because part of the role play I would do, with my friends online would be like, we'd get in there and run around, like set up our what do you call it, thingamabobs. We'd get our carts, like it was like a good number of us had taken like the trader path. So we would go hunting, we'd collect pelts, we'd do this whole thing, and once we had all the pelts and stuff, we'd have to go and deliver it, and then like we'd ride together and protect the cart from other players. Like that was a cool aspect of it, but there were just too many people who got on and griefed, and just like you encountered, every time you encountered somebody, you were likely going to be killed by them. That's the annoying part of Arc Raiders, or at least was in the beta, because in the beta, it was all about like there were a couple of people you'd encounter. Like I said, there's a couple of people where they genuinely just like wanted to explore the game, make friends, work together, because you totally can. Like nobody on the map has to shoot each other. But with those players, it was just I don't know. It was just difficult. I didn't like it. From that aspect. Everything else about the game, I thought was fantastic. I love the idea of it and stuff. I totally like went on a super random tangent. I don't know if I want to add automatons to this shot. Because there's going to be fire and stuff here. Maybe I'll add a couple. I don't get to work from home, so I have to go to bed. Stay free, brother. Hey, Alex, thanks for coming, hanging out on the stream. As always, being a regular. It's good to see you. Happy to have you. You go, and I hope you have the best night sleep. I hope both sides of your pillow are cold and that your blanket is comfy and that you are as snug as a bug in a rug. You have a good one. Thank you for hanging out. Always appreciated. When I was trying to figure out where I feel it deep within, it's just beneath my skin. I must confess that I feel like a demonetized. All right. We're almost there, folks. I'm almost out of bots to animate. There'll be a few more scenes with bots. But this is definitely like the big one. Like the other ones I honestly like I look at and I'm like, compared to this scene, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, dog. Alright. Shield. Give my man a shield. Give my man a shield and have him walk in place. They don't need to be doing anything super crazy. Everybody's going to be looking at this ship. The ground's on fire, too, so... I feel like I got so quiet. I'm in the zone, auto zone. Maybe I'll just do this. And I'll have this aligned with his backpack attached. All right. And then because comedy, this guy needs to explode. If I can learn how to spell the word explode, geez Louise. And then we'll just have this guy die. That feels pretty good. Again, tons of compositing and stuff's going to be happening. Going to be big emphasis on the Pelican taking off. So I feel pretty good about this. I don't want my GPU to melt. I'm going to call that one good. And then we are going to do the last shot of this whole scene, which means this scene of nearly 200 shots is almost there, guys. Crazy amount. All right. Putting a game plan together in my head. I got plans in my head and they won't go. $65. Make a new cinematic. Oh, I'm so excited. Y'all, I have been working on this scene for too long. And Wasp is here. Let's go. Welcome, welcome. You are pretty late to this stream. We're on the last shot of this scene. We just saw Wasp's character for the last time. The lad. Let's see here. Let's see. Oi. 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 Is everything closing up? Again, this would be a great animation to have known existed. This must be assuming that everything else is already locked into place, I suppose. Okay, okay. What the heck? Where are you, Pelican 1? Pelican 1 is further out than the Super Destroyer right now. Oh, goodness. Bring me back. Okay, so that animation ain't gonna fly. Oh, dude, I totally get it. No worries. That's every day of my life. Yeah, work's been kicking my butt. My butt's been kicking my butt. Yeah, I've just been like... I've been so busy. But like... I can't afford for that to be an excuse, you know? I need to try. I need to do it. What in the world? What is that animation? Oh, it's turning, it's turning, it's turning. I would not be surprised at all if there's like duplication and all that jazz. Titanfall is like, or was the exact same way. I was like, what did they hold this game together with? You know? Like Titanfall 2 is exactly duct tape and spit for real, for real. How that game like ever got completed after being in the game files. It's not that bad. I'm making it sound a lot worse than it actually is. But it's like, it's kind of crazy. I actually went through and cleaned up Titanfall's audio files when I downloaded them because it bugged me so much. Yeah, no. Their asset management is or was quite the doozy. But I feel like that's what like makes the game special. You know, it is weird, especially like the bones and everything, like of the character models and stuff. Like that's the main thing that gets me is I'm like, what is this? And yeah, just the oh goodness. Sorry. I'm so close to the end. The automatons are trying to put me to sleep. Where was I going? Oh, I feel like that's like the hallmark of like when a game is like really good. You know, like when it's when it is like so obviously like, you know, somebody being like, okay, like I need to do this today, and I'll just, you know, they'll put this here, and I'll name this, and you know what, like you know, ZZZZ, don't use, it's like, you know, in there on accident or whatever, you know, it's like, I feel like stuff like that, like, makes games special. I don't know. That's my opinion. Whoa, Eagle, chill out. Oh, wait, that's Pelican. That's not a bird, it's a kid. It's a go-to. I don't know who here watches Donkey. Me and my wife love watching Donkey. That is a go-to Donkey quote in our house. That's not a bird, it's a kid. DK Donkey Kong. We are eagerly awaiting the return, or we're hopeful for the return of Donkey Kong December. Always saying, you know, those ones definitely all the time, and then one of my go-to Donkey quotes comes from one of the first Donkey videos I ever saw, and it's I'm a millionaire. I'm a fucking millionaire. There's that one, and then my favorite Donkey video of all time is how to play Fallout 4. is a good one. All right. Let's just hope I nailed the camera placement. Camera placement is actually pretty good. It's how much Eagle is tilting up from this angle. That isn't working, but that's okay. We can fix that. Yep. Didn't mean to grab all of that. That feels pretty good. Da 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 da. Can you see it? Da 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 da. Da da da. Maybe I'll turn the snow down, but guys, I think we might have it in the back. In then take a shower. That's another that's a YouTube throwback. Das Boot is das Boot. Das Boot is one of those if you really want people to just like question your mental state, Das Boot is a good one to show them. But all right, well, hey guys, this feels pretty good to me. Once again, I know what I can do in grading and compositing and all that. So I feel pretty good about this shot, which means it is an honor to say the longest, most intense scene in the Helldivers film is completely animated, and it accounts for about 10 minutes of the film. And that feels pretty good. So if you are watching and you worked on the film, keep an eye out on the crew channel, because hopefully I'll be posting something in there soon. It is quite possibly the coolest scene. Mostly because you're in it. That's right. But, all right. Well, sweet. I'm going to go ahead and render these out, edit what I have together. And then I'll be following up. So, very happy I got to spend the last little bit here. Like I mentioned earlier, next week we will probably be shifting into doing visual effects streams, just because the rest of the animation that I have to do is loaded with spoilers. So we cannot show it on stream. So we'll probably start working on visual effects on stream instead. And perhaps we'll go back to watching Red vs. Blue or watch something else. Alex had suggested a show that his wife suggested. You know what I might watch? Actually, you heard it here first. You know what we might watch instead? Video Game High School. I haven't watched Video Game High School since I was in high school. I feel like that would be a good one to revisit. So, and yes, I do got to get fish cam back up. So hopefully we'll have that up soon too. So maybe that'll be the new era. VFX streams, watching Video Game High School, and bringing fish cam back. We'll see if we can make all that happen. All right. Thank you all so much for hanging out. It's a great time. Super excited to have this scene done. Whole film is almost done. And it comes out soon. So very excited. Thank you so much for supporting, hanging out, and we will catch you next week.